Welcome back, you guys, to my channel. It's your girl Just Coy here, and we're back with yet another story time. This is a continuation in the series of the beginning of the breakdown. There are two videos before this one. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below because you should definitely watch them before this one. The last story I told was about our new two favorite people, Joey and Tonya. This story is no different, but we're gonna title this one Joey, Tonya, and the Broken Windshield. Shall we get started? So at this time, Joey and I are together. This is about a month after our first
this is so because we got together February 9th of 2014.
Say the week of like March 9th, maybe through the 13th of 2014. So this happened fairly new into our relationship. I was still working for my aunt at the school. We were together. He was still friends, regrettably, with Tonya. What had happened was, one day, Joey had come to my house and we were hanging out. And then out of nowhere, he said, "Oh, Tonya just hit me up. She wants me to help her put her TV up. She had a flat screen and she wanted to put it up on the wall, and she asked him to help her." He, of course, agreed. He had a car at this point, his first car. He had his first car, and he agreed to go and help her. The plan was for them to go to the local Home Depot, pick up, I think, brackets and screws or something like that, and then go back to her house, hook it up, play a video game, and he would come back and see me later. Again, I'm not thinking anything of it. This time we had dated for over 10 months. We were together, so it's not like this was new to us. It's not like we were just, fresh in it. We had been already involved for a long time. So that was that. So I really didn't think anything, of it. We had a very honest relationship, or I thought we had a very honest relationship. So I didn't think much of anything that he did with her. Just being completely honest. So in this time, same thing. I was like, oh, okay, all right, well, be safe. At this time, it had snowed. If you're from Jersey, we get snow for about 3-4 months. We get snow sometimes into April. So it was March and it had just snowed and it was absolutely freezing. So he went to go pick her up. A couple hours went by. I didn't hear from him. No text messages, no nothing like that. I didn't think anything of it until he called. When he called me, he actually butt dialed me. People, please be careful with your phone wherever it is, because you never know who you accidentally may just call. So he had accidentally called me, but the commotion I heard in the background made me stay on the phone. So I'm listening and I hear, "Yeah, but did you see what she did to my car?" Someone says, "What did she do to her car?" He said, I think it was her mother. He said, "Look at my car. My windshield is gone. She broke my windshield." And I'm listening like, what is he talking about? Who is this female that broke his windshield? Because at this time, I'm like, yo, bro, I'm ready to roll. Like, I'm waiting for him to, like, accidentally say where he is so I can, you feel what I'm saying? I was waiting for it. He never said where he was. I was pissed because I'm like, oh my gosh, is he? Also, I'm concerned. I'm like, are you okay? Like, where are you? We live in the hood, so if a hood chick bust shit, I don't need you to be hype. You feel what I'm saying? If somebody do something to you, now I'm crying. I got time. I got time for none of it, okay? I'm listening or whatever, and then I guess he realized that I was on the phone, and he hung up the phone. So now I'm calling him. He's not answering. I'm getting pissed. He comes to my house, and I'm like, what happened? This, ladies and gentlemen, is the story that Joey told me. And I want you guys to tell me at the end of his version of the story if you think that she thought that they were just friends. So Joey says that Tonya asked him to help her hang her TV on the wall. He agreed. They were going to go to Home Depot to get brackets and screws to hang the flat screen on the wall. He went and picked her up. They went to Home Depot, got said brackets and screws, and were on their way home on one of the highways known as Route 440. They're on 440. He hadn't been driving very long but he also hadn't had his first car very long. And if you knew Joey, you knew he was an amateur wannabe racer. Okay, so his car, one was old. I think it was like a 1999 Toyota Hyundai or something like that. Like, it was Toyota Camry, something. It was an old car. It was very old, and it didn't have the best tires. And again, it snowed in Jersey, and he's a fast driver. I had driven in the car with him multiple times. I got used to it. I felt safe. This was maybe her first or second time in the car with him when he drove it. So she was a little more paranoid. Apparently, from what he says, she asked him to drive slower because she was nervous and she was in the front seat of the car. Joey was the type of asshole that a lot of people are. Honestly, when it comes to driving, you don't want the passenger driving. Backseat driving is not cool, nor is passenger seat driving not cool. So that's where he was coming from. But rather than be mature about it, Joey decides to be an asshole. What does Joey do? Joey pulls over. This is the story again that he said. He pulled over on the highway in 32-degree weather and told her if she didn't like his driving, she could get out and walk from the highway to her house. This, of course, starts an argument. They're arguing. She thought he was joking about kicking her out of the car. He says he parked the car, slapped the hazards on, walked around it, opened her door, and told her to get out of his car. She refused at first, and then she got out. He got back in, locked the doors, and pulled off. He left this girl stranded in the middle of the night, mind you, on the highway in the freezing cold for her to walk about 15 to 20 blocks to get home. He told me that he went home to his mother's house, sat there for a little while, hung out with his family for a little while, and then decided to go to her house to check on her to make sure she was home. He gets there, she's home, she's livid. Apparently, she throws out one of his Xbox controllers and a video game into the dumpster in the back of her house. Like, she broke up the game. She broke up the game. She broke up his controller and threw them into the dumpster behind her house. He got there, pissed, of course. Her cousin brought her the drill that they needed to put the brackets and the screws up for her TV. Tonya, from what he said, and he also had the bruises and bumps to prove it, Tonya took the drill that was in a plastic grocery bag and hit him with it. She, from what he said, hit him in his arm, hit him in his back, hit him on his chest, and hit him upside his head with the drill. We did go to the hospital for him to get checked out, and he was fine. But he definitely had lumps and bruises on his body from where she hit him. You know, he really wasn't like, he's not a fighter, and he doesn't hit women, so he just kind of took it. But when she hit his car with the drill, she had hit the trunk a couple times, and they're arguing back and forth, and she smashed the drill into the back windshield of his car. Does that sound like an argument between best friends or between two people that's together? Because I've argued with my best friends plenty of times, and I've never, ever damaged any of their property. So he then tells me that at this time her mother decides to come outside because she hears all the commotion and she wants to know what's going on. And the last time she knew, her daughter was outside. That's when I came in because I was on the phone already. So as he's telling me this story, I'm getting absolutely livid. Like, we've been dating for over 10 months. We're officially a couple now. I feel some type of way because not only did you damage his property, but you also hit him with this drill and you caused bodily harm to him. I have a problem with that, considering the fact that I'm extremely territorial about what's mine. And if you cause any damage to it in any way, shape, or form, like, sis,
what does it do?
That kind of energy that a lot of dudes might have actually been appreciative of. He says to me, if I put one finger on her, he's gonna break up with me. For trying to defend him. He said that if I did anything to her, if anything happened to her, if I had anything done to her, that he was going to break up with me. Back then, I was extremely insecure, and I felt the need to be validated, and I had wanted this type of affection from someone for a very long time, and he actually gave it to me. So I wasn't really willing to chance or risk calling his bluff, so to speak. Now I don't care, but back then I cared. And so because now I can look at it in hindsight and it be 2020, I know that then I should have just walked away from him, because for him to even present that kind of, like, you know, situation. But again, we had just been freshly dating. This is not only just your ex, but this is your best friend as well. So there's a different territory there that I just couldn't invade at that point because I wasn't his best friend just yet. We were very close friends. We were very good friends in the beginning of our relationship, but we became best friends as our relationship continued, to where we were basically two peas in a pod. You didn't see one without the other type of situation, or one wasn't far from the other. And, you know, after this situation, I never looked at him the same, because actually what ended up happening was, as the situation continued, myself and his mother actually ended up paying for the back windshield to be fixed, because for some reason he didn't have the money, and at the time he was training for a restaurant job. So he was out of our city, he was out of our town, and he had to travel back and forth through the highways in the middle of the winter with no back windshield. The trash bag kept flying off and stuff like that. So, like, it was not safe. And I always wanted him to be safe, and I needed to know he was safe. And even though his car wasn't the safest, I knew that it was important for him to know I wanted him to be safe. So I paid for it. And as time actually went on, and there's another story time that's coming from it, when she and I actually had a conversation, because she crossed the final line. Like, it was unbelievable. She told me that she actually gave him money for the car to get fixed. And I looked at him like, you told me she never gave you anything. Never. He told me she never gave him anything. But you guys let me know in the comments down below if this story time sounded like, from Joey's interpretation of the situation, if it actually sounded like two best friends that got into a really heated argument. From my take on the situation, it sounds like a lover's quarrel to me. It sounds like somebody was a little bit in their emotions, and the other person reacted, but it wasn't the reaction that the first person thought, Tonya, that she expected it to be. And because, the other person, Joey, wasn't with this, you know what I mean? Like, it just wasn't what it was. I feel like she reacted in a way that was very angry girlfriend. You broke his stuff, you destroyed his property, and then you abuse him. Nowhere in that does that say a best friend interaction. Guys, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you like this story time of Joey, Tonya, and the windshield, definitely make sure to give it a big thumbs up. That helps me a lot. And if you haven't already, come and join the family. Hit that subscribe button. And sis, as I have said in 2 other previous videos, this is a part of a series of story times. So you're gonna want to put the notification bell on so you never miss when I post. I'm just saying, if you see how big this mug is, you know there's some big. We ain't even halfway done. Not even halfway done. But remember, we're all just big koi fish swimming in this pond known as the world and life, and we should all just treat each other with a lot of respect and dignity. And until next time, deuces.